Hello, and welcome back to a special Game of the Year episode of the Xbox North podcast. My name is Andrew Ravnan. That's how I say my last name, because I forget how to say it last time because it's so big. Your drop-in and drop-out host of the Xbox North podcast. Excited to talk to you about the best of gaming of 2021 for Xbox from us, the Xbox North team. Joining me, as usual, my two dads, Joshua James and Dan Robertson. Joshua, how's it going, buddy? It's good to see you. You're looking nice.
You like my new shirt?
Oh, yeah. I wonder why we have that shirt.
I love that shirt. It's great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
No, everything's going good, you know. Back to work, so off my long... at the beginning of the year, I like to take a bit of a break.
Yeah.
So I take like a week off. So I'm finally back to... Today's my Monday, sadly. So back to work today, but... You know, looking forward to the new year. Looking forward to getting paid. That'd be nice, you know, especially after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Oh man, these kids. But no, playing some games. Playing Mass Effect right now.
Nice.
Mass Effect Legacy Edition. You know what? Like, if you don't focus on the side quests of the first game, you can really fly through that game in like easily 2 days.
Yeah. I think.
And I love just, I'm playing it. I'm just like, oh yeah, the frame rate's really nice. Like this is really nice. Like I must have played through the first Mass Effect like at least 5 or 6 times at this point now.
Yeah.
I played it a lot when I was younger, when it first came out. Like I scoured every little corner, got every weapon upgrade. My characters were like really beefy. And yeah, now I'm starting the second one, and God, that game, the second one, like the textures look so good. Like I remember they added like almost like a fiber optic, or not fiber optic. Like the hoods of cars are made out of
Carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, yeah.
That's fiber.
Yeah, fiber optic. Why am I saying that?
Yeah.
A carbon fiber to his armor and stuff. So yeah, just kind of going through that and looking forward to playing Rainbow Six co-op soon. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so excited.
distraction.
Awesome, buddy. That's great. Also with me, Dan Robertson. Dan, good to hear you. Good to see you. Thanks for the setup for this episode. We have a big setup, and you just did all that stuff, so I'm pretty excited. How you doing? What's going on?
We had to make it look nice for our new buddy.
Oh right,
Yeah.
right. That's
I
true.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been doing too much. Been mostly working and stuff. Find myself being pulled back into Horizon. Just been jumping back in every so often and completing some more races and everything, and getting frustrated when I'm not first.
Yeah.
Because all my friends are racing me, and even though it's not actually you guys and everything, it feels really bad when Josh beats me.
Oh yeah, and like you've done it. Like Tony's Drivatar's done it to me too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah. Don't you
Tony's
just-
especially like.
It's
because I'm really good at the game.
Yeah.
Not really, though. I'm just joking. I'm probably not
Yeah.
good.
I mean, that's my biggest question is, like, are these people, like, is this based on anything other than AI playing?
I think
Or
it's
is it-
AI. Because I have
I think
people
it's-
on my friends list who have never played the game on my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
Or
here.
maybe they played it like once. There's no way they've done that race or whatever. So
Yeah.
So what they
I know,
what
but, like,
they-
the people
how
who
they
have,
just-
does it pull in any info? And, like,
Yeah, no.
Does it pull
From
in
what
their
they
time?
describe, it's called their Drivatar. So it maps AI or like a ghost that kind of goes with how they drive. So if a person's like an aggressive driver or something, like if you find one person's
I was going to say, are you guys racing me and I'm just running into walls and stuff? Because that's
Yeah,
how I
for real.
drive. I use the walls for corners.
Yeah.
like it's not 1-to-1 because they'll tweak it so they're at least competitive, but like they at least try to get your characteristics per driver. So that's why they call it their Drivatar thing. So
Nice. Okay.
Cool. Nice.
So I am actually racing some people. That makes me feel less bad that I'm beating at least actual people most of the time, or actual
a
people. are
clone,
beating.
yeah, imitation
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
So I was noticing there was like 1 or 2 people who were usually leading the pack whenever I was racing all my friends, and I was like, Like, it can't just be like AI is just that good for just those people. So
Yeah, right. It's like then
Not too
Josh
much
is
other
just
than
too.
that.
I'm just too good, right? My driver test is too good.
till right at the end, you just drive straight into a wall.
Well, I played every Forza. I
every
haven't
race.
played the first one, so I wonder if it takes like the data from like all their drivatars and stuff from like the years.
It imports your like Mass Effect.
Like
Part of why I lose sometimes. I spend too much time trying to make you guys crash.
Yeah. Nice. Well, also with us, obviously, as you can tell from if you're watching the visuals or just hearing another fourth person talk, we have a very special guest, a friend of the podcast. He's actually kind of becoming a great Xbox friend because guess what? I finally have somebody to play MLB The Show with, like for fuck's sakes, it's been too long. Excuse the French folks, but I really like that game.
Well,
and
you're not going to get us to play it. So.
Well, why don't you guys, learn to play some baseball?
I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I had no one to play with either, so it was great to find out that you had played it and we had a game in common that wasn't like Halo or something else, right?
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
As you can tell,
I'll post our first short. It'll be that song. He looks at him and he looks at me. And he looks at him.
As you can hear, folks, our very special guest and friend Tony, aka of Plume Network. Buddy, how you doing? How's it going? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Happy to be here. It's been a busy week. There's been some interesting news, and Plume Network, that's my YouTube channel. I do news videos about Xbox and stuff. But other than that, it's been a good week. Been playing a lot of just like random different Xbox games. Been playing some like Mortal Kombat 11. Been playing a game or finished a game called Olia, which is like a side-scrolling retro platformer with some cool combat. A very, very cool game. Short, only like 5-6 hours. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Nice. And then jump back into Forza Horizon as well. I mean, that's a game I keep going back to every once in a while, and just as fun every single time. So yeah, it's been a good week of gaming, good week of videos, and happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Well, let's just, since you're our guest, and we want to get to know you, like you kind of told us about yourself, but like, tell us just a little bit more about yourself. What got you into gaming? What started that name? By the way, I love that name because it's not like some random gamer card name or it's just not, and you don't have some sort of, cheesy line to say. Like, I just like the fact it's, it kind of works. It has a really cool titleship. So yeah.
Well, the name it's interesting because we've been talking about MLB The Show, and just randomly, I play on a baseball team. I haven't in the last 2 years because of...
You play on a baseball team?
Yeah.
So do I. I've been playing baseball.
There you go.
Yeah.
And last 2 years, but like with the pandemic, I haven't been able to, which sucks. But randomly, when I would go up to bat, there was a guy's like mom. He's like a 30-year-old man whose mom still came to watch the games.
Yeah.
But she was randomly started calling me Plume for some reason, and then it just stuck. I have no idea why she was calling me Plume. I did never ask, but then everybody on the team started calling me that. So I'm like, well, I guess that's my name. I'm going with that. And then it just transferred over to my YouTube channel and my socials and stuff like that. So that's where the name comes from. I think that's the first time I've ever told that story. You guys may be the first people to ever hear the story of where Plume came from.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the headline for this episode. That's amazing. Yeah. So are you...
our clickbait, just... figure out who the Plume really is.
Yeah.
May I ask, like your favorite position, or is it like do you just is it one of those like?
I play third.
We're going there, Andrew. I guess.
I play third base and left field, or like the two positions I play.
Awesome. Yeah, that's amazing, man. We if you're ever, I wish this pandemic's over because I've been playing baseball since I was 6 years old. So
It's a great sport. I mean, it sucks some of the stuff we can't do right now, but hopefully it ends soon. I'm very positive right now. I think we're getting towards the end, but we'll see.
That's true. I'm sure. I'm optimistic.
Yeah. We'll peak and then it'll be over.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
I hope so, boys. I love your optimism. I need it. Can you feed it to me because I'm kind of fucking not getting that. Tell me what made you become like a YouTuber, and you got over 6,000 subs, and I obviously I'm sure there was a time where this stuff was getting pretty easy, where everybody was like really this, like a lot of gaming YouTube channels, but like, great job and all that stuff. But like, what made you become a YouTuber?
I mean, just wanting to talk about my opinions on or just talk about the news that was going on, because I was always following what was going on in the video game industry, and like in my close circle of friends, tons of gamers, but no one really followed it as closely as I did. So it was kind of like I'd bring it up and no one to really talk to about, right? So I just made a YouTube channel and said, hey, I've seen other people have opinions and talk about the stuff. I have my opinions. I want to talk about it, so why not? Why not just put it out there and see what happens? It's been a long ride. I've been making videos since like 2017 and really only taken off in like the last year or so. So it's been
So the
fun,
pandemic, it's like
You
the
definitely
pandemic.
got the voice for it.
Yeah,
though.
For sure.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
it's definitely true.
If it was anything like us, it was my wife be like, so you need an outlet to get all this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Can't be going to the wife talking to them about like, did you
Yeah.
see the Xbox and the PlayStation sales? Like no,
Yeah.
she doesn't care.
It's
You need an
funny.
outlet, someone other than the wife.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me as well, because like all my friends are just like Sony PlayStation friends or Nintendo friends, and they're always like, bro, Xbox, and I'm like, and they're always like, why? And I'm just like, I'll tell you why. This is, and that was
It's
great.
the
And,
best.
yeah, but oh well, because you're talking about this and this about Xbox, I know this is a general question, but like favorite game of all time, and why does that game stand out for you?
Favorite game of all time? It's tough for me, but I would say if I had to just pick one, it's probably Halo 3, just
Okay.
from like the nostalgia from it. And I mean, the campaign was incredible. The multiplayer, it's a game that like I literally skip school all the time to play. And so I spent a lot of my high school years playing Halo 3 rather than actually going to school.
Me too.
So I'd say that was definitely it could be up there as my favorite game of all time, but there's so many games I love. So
What's your favorite multiplayer map in Halo 3?
I don't know, man. Like there's
Mine's Guardian, personally.
Yeah, I can't remember the names, but the one where you have like the vehicles in the back on the beach, and then you have like the bridge, and then I forget the name of it, but that's the one.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I forget the name of it.
Oh, okay, and it has the big
Big circle
almost
thing?
Yeah, and the big
windmill
circle
in
up
the
top
middle?
where you can run through the middle on the inside. I forget the name of
Is
it.
it called like Zealot or something?
Something
or?
like that. But I just remember loving that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they kept
I'm pretty
remaking.
sure I've seen it show up as a background for Teams even, like Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
Like they even added it in
Yeah.
there because it was so iconic.
It's a super popular map, and it'd be cool if they like brought stuff like that back to Halo Infinite eventually with DLC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Or at
I remember the
least, like,
big
a
fan
reimagine
going.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the big fan gets going, and you get a car stuck in there. Like just get a Warthog jammed,
Yeah.
and it just starts to pull it all the way around the circle.
Yeah.
And wasn't there like a rocket launcher in the middle? You could like you had to like break something down.
You had to ride up the fan or something, or find a way to get to the middle top to be able to grab that.
Yeah, good level.
Yeah.
Good level.
Very, very iconic map, but definitely up there for my favorite one.
Halo 3 had some really iconic map. Guardian is, if you remember, it was more like an arena map. Had the circle in the middle. Almost looked like it was in like a swampy kind of forerunner structure.
Yeah.
In the sky. So it was funny, Tony, with that, with Forge mode. So we designed that map to the middle of it. We put like fusion coils and all like the explosive stuff.
Nice.
So, and we'd have it on like a timer, so it would come up every once in a while. And it was just one shot, and the whole thing would explode. Yeah. But the explosion was so big that it would actually lag out the game. So anytime someone shot it, it didn't matter where you were on the map. The game would just like drop frames, so everyone knew when the middle like blew. So
that's why we got to get Forge over to Infinite soon, because stuff like that, right?
Man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Forge needs. Yeah, Forge would give the game so much more life. I find right now.
And people will be recreating these maps. We wouldn't even need 343 to put them out there for like the older ones, right?
So,
I'm surprised they didn't release it day one just for content.
Yeah. Because look at the content drop.
I almost feel like Forge should be more priority than like I want co-op. I do like really badly, but I would get way more play out of Forge being added to Halo. I think they should prioritize that. But
That and replayable
into a different
missions. I
topic,
want that
right?
next. Because if I can get replayable missions, then I can get 100%. I have
Replayable.
99% because I missed one audio log.
It's like I'm
Yeah.
not going back.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I just
Yeah, you got to look
Totally.
up the speed run, the people who do it in like 30 minutes. You're
Yeah.
just like, okay, you're right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Lots of updates need to come to that, but it's still like a very, very good game from what they have, at least for a start, but need to bring more stuff to it.
I think maybe it's also because we've grown up playing Halo so much and we have such high expectations. And even though this one, we didn't have too many high expectations because of maybe like previous entries from 343, but then we're also like, okay, this is good, but like I remember the days of Halo 3 where I had so much, given in a $60 game box. But it's a different time.
Halo
it's
cokeheads just
yeah. Addictions.
Well, I feel like even with Halo 5, we had a better idea what was happening. They were more like we knew Warzone Firefight was coming.
Yeah.
Forge was just a little off, but things weren't just like so.
Yep.
Kind of, we just don't know what's going on, but maybe they don't know. Maybe the game is held together with duct tape and they're just like, oh my God, it didn't explode, guys.
Well, it's interesting too because you can tell they cut a lot of stuff out. Because I got just the other day, I got the art book that they just released, and I'm going through like the pictures, and even on like they have pictures of the ring, you can see like mountains with snow and like different biomes in the picture. So you can tell that they had all that and they wanted to put it in, but they just cut it because the time constraints and everything. So
yeah.
I
mentioned it a few times too. The map was supposed to be like 3 times or 4 times bigger than it is currently.
Yeah, and there was supposed to be more wildlife is one thing that I heard. There was actually supposed to be more wildlife.
That was another thing in the art book. There are lots of pictures of wildlife in like the pictures. So
and Infinite, you've got like birds and like some weird mice and something else. Like you got like small little animals. That's it. I don't know.
I've seen a few of them running around in a couple multiplayer levels, but
yeah.
But were those rhinos from like that
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Demo they showed?
Yeah. I thought maybe like every time I saw that one trailer first and I saw Halo, I'm like, I know what's going to happen. Whatever the bad guy is, Master Chief's going to ride on top of that rhino and he's going to be like with an assault rifle and he's going to kill the bad guy. And I was like, yeah, like whatever your thoughts in your head of like what you would see. And then you're just like, yeah, boy, you were wrong. You know what I mean? So
could you just picture like Master Chief riding in like a cowboy on top of a rhino?
Yes. Yes, I literally saw that. That is actually what I saw. Yeah. The next question. Oh, well, this is really hilarious because Josh wrote this, but clearly he's actually right. But who does your decorating? Because mine does suck.
Oh, that was me. Yeah.
Oh,
Dan.
Oh, Dan. Okay.
I was like, I didn't write that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was you, Dan.
Well, like all of the items obviously are like I chose all the items, but like if it was up to me, all that stuff would just be piled up on the ground. So my wife's like, you should probably get like a bookshelf or something.
Yeah.
Kind of try to make it look like it's semi-organized. Although I keep adding more stuff to it and it's getting more and more messy. And I also have like my dog bed right there. So I got comments on some of my videos of people are like, do you sleep on the ground behind your computer? I'm like, no.
It's like, what?
Yes.
No, don't worry. I have a bed.
It's like, clearly you haven't watched enough of my videos, but
Yeah.
I
like
thought
your
that for a
dog's name
second. I was
again?
like, are you
Toast.
just bare mattressing it?
I mean, I've laid on it multiple times playing with her, and it's comfy as hell.
It
So
looks comfy.
yeah.
she's cute.
Yeah, no, she's
very cute dog from pictures.
Yeah, I love her. She's awesome. But the picture frames, that's all my wife and stuff.
Nice.
She's, I want to say she's 8 months. She's still a puppy, but she's
just a pup, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So lots of training these days.
Yeah, she's pretty well behaved. She had some issues today. We had to take her to the vet quickly because she was like throwing up, but apparently there's nothing wrong with her. So
okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what your audience wants to hear, but hey, that's
That's well, you know what? Dan had some dogs. You know what? Our audience wants to hear
whatever.
Whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
I had 2 dogs for a while. When we had 2 kids, we had to sadly rehome them just because money and just the cost of living like that. But you know, sometimes they will just do the weirdest things, and you're just like, oh, okay, they're fine.
Yeah, no, she's completely fine. I was just worried. I was like a worried dog
Yeah.
dad, I guess.
My baby, my baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got a
Nice.
bunch of animals in my house. I got a dog, a rabbit, and a cat.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do they interact well together?
Yeah, they're pretty good. The cat likes to bother the rabbit because he stays mostly in his cage and everything.
Yeah.
And the cat is the newest member, so he's he actually plays with the dog the most, and like
Oh, that's nice.
they roughhouse and everything, and surprisingly totally fine.
That's awesome.
You know what? I do have a pet right now. I have an axolotl, a little like.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
If it's like a. Almost
Like
looks like
a-
a water,
like a gecko.
a little water. Yeah, it looks like a gecko.
Yeah,
but-
just
I was
a
like, I've
little-
never heard of that, but it sounds
little
cool.
crazy.
yeah,
thing.
Google
Have you
search
seen 'em in?
axolotl.
Yeah,
Check this out. They're in
I was watching a whole video on how you pronounce that. Even it's like axolotl or something like that. But it's and like there's a few different ways you can pronounce it. But they're in Minecraft and everything too. So they're like little pink lizard-looking things, and they got like 4 little
yeah, little gills.
whiskers coming out or whatever it is.
He's
Yeah,
so
it's cool.
friendly though, man. He'll like swim like right up to you, but he eats like a half a worm, and he'll just like chomp that thing and just like swallow it. But
Wow.
Vicious.
our pets, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the only guy that's like, man, I wish I had a pet or I had a dog or a cat that like was a part of my life because like I'm always like, everybody has these stories, and I'm just like, damn, they're so adorable. All right, well, I'm gonna ask one more question before we all start to it, even though it's not a gaming one, but I just wanted to know because I'm just like, even though it's an Xbox one, hey, MLB labor shortage, are you annoyed by that shit, or is it just me?
I mean, let's hope that they start on time. You know, that would be, if they start on time, whatever. I'm less annoyed by this one, more annoyed by the one that happened in '94, even though I was just a little
Kid,
3-year-old or 4-year-old or whatever.
Yeah,
because
I
I
can
was
just picture you just being like,
yeah.
"Start the damn game!"
Yeah, no, exactly. 'Cause I was like a huge Expos fan. They were going to win the World Series that year, and then
I
they had to
love
stop
the
playing.
Expos. Yeah, yeah, that's such a sad thing. Yeah,
Yeah, such a great team in '94 too. Like if you look at that roster, it's insane. They would have won, like, hands down.
Okay, wait. So you're up in like Ottawa. Do they have like a team up there?
no.
We had a we used to
Double
have
A,
a triple A team,
yeah,
Ottawa
Ottawa
Lynx.
Lynx, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so by default, do you default to Blue Jays?
Please.
I'll be completely honest with you.
Oh my God!
I'll cheer for the Blue Jays. I have
Yeah.
a hard time cheering for any Toronto team, because I'm a Habs
We're
fan
not that
for
far.
hockey.
That's
So
okay.
it's like
That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry.
I hate the
about
Leafs,
that.
and
That's. Can I be honest? I hate the Leafs too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll cheer for the Blue Jays if they're in the playoffs. It's been so hard for me to find a team that I want to cheer for when the Expos were gone, because I used to go watch so many games and just like
Yeah.
broke my heart. Like
Broke a lot of young lives, in my opinion, because it's
Yeah.
like it's what is it? It's not our fault. It was some stupid billionaire being fucking cheap as thing and didn't put enough marketing and
yeah.
running people to the ground. And Canadian sports teams have it rough, folks.
Okay,
That's all.
My
Yeah.
favorite hockey team for the longest time was the Mighty Ducks, and mostly just because they had movies.
Yeah.
And then I found out that the team was based off of the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, my favorite, it was the animated
They
version.
did, those
Yeah,
were cool.
right.
Those were so cool. Yeah.
Just
That
mutant ducks beating
yeah.
the crap out of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
That had the best jerseys ever. I mean, as a kid, I was like, "Oh God, what's
Oh
jerseys?"
yeah,
are really-"
yeah. The Mighty Ducks jerseys were dope. Like
So
growing up,
cool.
I
So
don't know,
cool.
everyone
Yeah.
liked that.
Sorry, folks. We're a bunch of folks reminiscing the '90s and the early 2000s, but
Yeah.
that's what we did that for. Yeah, that's true.
We
All
all
right.
We're Canadian, so it all leads back to
Yeah.
hockey.
Carpenter.
Yeah, that's true.
Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I still
It's-
think
Yeah, this is the life of 30s. You know, it's now we're like looking at it and going like, we can't be children anymore. But
And everything was better back in the day.
oh, it was so much better. It was so much better. And then
the internet sucked. All right, let's
Yeah.
not.
yeah, we do
When
have
our
a
kids
couple of
ask, we walk
yeah.
uphill both ways, and
yeah.
I'm streaming games to my cell phone now. Like I was playing like Mass Effect in my bed. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well,
On with the show, Andrew.
yeah, we will. We will. So we're going to talk about some weekly news, and then after that, we're going to start to our game of the year. But let's start with our weekly news. From Software, the developer behind games like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and the upcoming Elden Ring, their next outing, they might go back to the roots. They would return to the Armored Core series. If anyone doesn't know the Armored Core, it's pretty much a mech game. It's a mechanized robot set in a dystopian future. It's an old school childhood favorite of mine as well. Like I played it on the 360 a lot when it came out, because I remember that was the game that was just like, okay, we're not going to get any more Mech Assault games, so this one is a good choice. Was this a game that you guys ever played? What you guys ever thought about it? Or
I tried it a little bit once, but like I remember playing Mech Assault a whole bunch. I tried Armored Core for a little bit, but it was before I had really gotten into any anime or anything, and it had very much like a Gundam feel, and I just felt like I was kind of lost, and I was like not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Armored Core was great.
Yeah.
It was cool though. It was a fun game. It was just much more than I was into at the time.
Yeah, for me, I've never played it, so I don't have too much to say about Armored Core. I remember playing Mech Assault though, on like the OG Xbox, but I never got into Armored Core, and honestly, like I never really got into too much of the FromSoftware games like Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne and stuff. I don't know why. It's just never played too many of them, but I hear they're good.
Yeah, I know.
From used to support Xbox quite a bit, like with the armor. So I remember playing Armored Core 4 on the Xbox 360. I always thought their mech design was very unique. They had this kind of like triangle look to them. I remember having like an action figure of it. And you know what? Like I would buy like one of those Gundam sets of Armored Core mech like today. They are really cool. So it'd be interesting. Well, the gameplay was weird. Like it was very fast, kind of floaty gameplay. And From was making interesting games at that time. Like on the 360, they made with Sega these games called Otogi.
Yeah,
and it was interesting because there was it was one of the few games that the environment was destructible, but you were like this like almost like sorcerer, and when you hit bad guys, they would fly through the map and like smack into a wall and make like a huge crater. I was like, oh, so it's like Dragon Ball Z. Okay, this is kind of cool. So they made these like quick, fast action games. I'm very curious how a From of today, like a From Software of today, would tackle the mech genre. It could be very interesting.
Yeah. I guess because all their stuff now is like super slow, like all the Souls games, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That's true.
So
That's true.
And like it would be a third-person shooter, I would imagine, at this point. I wonder if they would go like destructible environments. I don't know.
None of those games really had much like gunplay to them or anything either, right? Like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne.
No, more like magic and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ever play those games, Tony?
No, not really. I mean, I've dabbled in them, but I've never gone through them all. Like I tried Demon Souls on the PS5 when it first came out. I even like streamed it, and like I couldn't get through it. Stopped playing it, but never got too much into them. No, not really. It's like I'm not even that hyped for Elden Ring, but everyone seems to be like the most hyped game.
Elden Ring. Yeah, true. Yeah, they're saying it 3 times in their sleep. Yeah. May I?
I hear it, and then the Elden Ring appears. You say it like times in the mirror in the dark, and then the Elden Ring will appear.
But they're becoming like, there's like that loyal fan base of those From Software games, and sometimes you're just like, what's this all about? Maybe I should kind of check it. And so that's why I'm probably gonna try out Elden Ring, because it just seems like everybody won't stop talking about it. But just going back with like the mech games of From Software, there is one game that I would love if all 3 of you have played it, or if like there was a game, it's an original Xbox game, it's called Metal Wolf Chaos, and it's from Software, and it's like this really cool Mech Assault game made by From Software developers, and it's like making fun of like American propaganda, but it's made
No,
by like a Japanese
Was
developer.
it from or was it Platinum? That was Platinum.
No,
wasn't
no,
it?
no. It was a FromSoftware game actually. But the developers of that are, I think now they're working at FromSoft. But it was a FromSoftware game. It was like 2004. But yeah,
Can you get out of your mech and run around as a tiny little person and just get
you
crushed
play
by everyone else?
you play the president of the United States,
Oh, okay.
who also
it is
drives mech.
FromSoftware.
Yeah, who who's also trying to save the world from a mech. And it's a really absurd story, really stupid.
Oh yeah, it's so stupid.
Uh,
So he
remember
has
it.
his own mech?
that's
Is
kind
it
of what I
illegal?
like.
President.
Yeah,
You're the
yeah, he's a
president
good
of the
he's a
United
good guy.
States, right?
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's getting
So-
like betrayed, and it's completely out there. It's really cheesy and corny, and that's kind of something that I kind of miss from like Japanese developers, like that kind of like uh, that type of game. And I feel like, yeah, I would love to see that from Software. And you know what? They had other mech games. There's games like Chrome Hounds. There was a bunch of other.
Hands.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, they did that, all those stuff. So they clearly
Didn't
love
they
it.
do Chrome Hounds too?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, they love mech games. By the way, they
Phil
love mech
Spencer,
games.
please, like, talk to them. Like, they
Yeah.
did some good. They supported Xbox like so much. I'm so surprised.
Yeah. From the OG original. Yeah, you're
I
right.
feel like
From-
back in the day, like mech games were probably one of the best options, and that's probably partially why a lot of games now are more like armored people based and everything, because it's all polygons and everything, right?
yeah,
So like if you can have as many flat, straight pieces as possible on your character, the
Yeah.
easier it is to model.
yeah. I think
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why they stopped was because Mechasol 2 was like a huge disappointment. I don't know if you guys remember Mechasol 2, but like that game was like a big freaking disappointment. That's one of the worst acting like ever for like voice acting. If you want to like just like really, if you just want to like play a game where you're just like cringing at the voice acting,
You just
Mechasol
want to
2
play a game for disappointment.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely, because that's what we do, right? That's how we play games. We do it for torture, right?
Yeah.
Because our next
The
topic
Dark Souls is so good, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because our next topic is about putting 500 hours into a video game. I'm just kidding, but Dying Light 2 is quickly approaching, and before the release, they are touting the numbers of that makes it sound like it's an incredibly long game. But we should clarify. I believe the main story is actually just 20 hours
20
plus.
hours, yeah.
Yeah, but with like the possibilities of like replays and different outcomes, you're going to get about 500 hours of content. We've had kind of like these like debates about where like, you know, length of games should be because, you know, obviously people hated kind of like those like short sessions and they didn't feel like that $60 or $70 value was there. But then now we're also getting like these over-bloated games. I'm kind of this person where like I hate seeing the number, but I think the problem was also the number was misleading when they kind of promoted it like that. But what do you guys think? You know, when like I think Tony, you made a tweet about it too, and I was just kind of like wondering, you know, what you guys think about, you know, a game kind of advertising 500 hours of potential, you know, gameplay.
I mean, for me, I think it's fine. I mean, if
Yeah.
people love Dying Light, what's the problem with having 500 hours that you're spending $60 on when, let's say you just want to play through the story and run through it, it's 20 hours. That's the reality of it. Everything else is extra. They're not forcing you to do it. It's
Yeah.
the more you get for your money, it's fine. I mean, yeah, sure, a lot of it will probably be filler and stuff, but it reminds me of like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is a game I absolutely loved, and a lot of people biggest complaint was it's too big, it's too long, and there's too much to do. And I was just out there wanting to do everything, and I was happy that it was longer. And you didn't have to do it all. You could finish the story in more. That story was much longer than 20 hours, but you could finish the story in under, I don't know, probably like 60 or 50 hours or so. And then if you want to keep playing, you could. So I don't know. I don't understand the complaints about having more content for your money. That one I just not completely understanding from what I've seen on Twitter and people just kind of talking about it.
Well, I feel like a lot of those people like speak from a place of privilege. Like a person, you know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla could be that one person's game for that year. And having 500 plus hours is like, oh, this is exactly what I want. You know, I get my money's worth out of it. But just I was saying earlier in the show, with Mass Effect 1, if you beeline that game, you can beat it in like 10,
Yeah.
8, 10 hours, not even.
Yeah.
So I like the kind of option where the game is essentially saying you can go as deep as you want with it. It doesn't matter if you want to play it 20 hours, we hope to give you a good experience. But if you want to go crazy and do 500 hours, and we got to remember, this is a co-op game,
Yeah.
right? So we could all play this together. Like the co-op in the original Dead Island and the original Dying Light was like some of the best times. Like even me and Dan have had like playing games. It's a really great. I would recommend even going back to Dying Light now because it just got an FPS boost, so it runs at 60 frames.
Yeah.
So it's.
I've been trying that out a little bit every now and again just to kind of get back into it and play some more because it was really good. But yeah, like I feel like the longer game time and everything, it was perfect for me before Game Pass came out.
Yeah.
Because it was like I had all that time and everything, and it was like, okay, so I can get like one game and I can spend a decent amount of money on it, and then like I can play the living crap out of that game until I've just beaten the hell out of it.
Yeah,
it's not like I know I've spent like 200 plus hours at least in Skyrim on just one of my playthroughs through it. Yeah. So it's like I'd be able to definitely do that on Dying Light 2 and everything, especially with the new features and everything they've got in there and all the parkour and everything. I still haven't totally beaten Dying Light 1.
This one sounds pretty ambitious, like for what they want to do. They say like you can make choices that completely change the entire map of some areas, and there could be sections of the game that like when you come into my game, you're like, okay, this looks crazy. Like, what is all this? I made this and this choice. And they say it's actually supposed to be pretty meaningful. And from the support of Dying Light 1, like that game still sells to this day. Yeah. So, but question for you guys now. So we got a delay. This is kind of how I'll sneak in a delay piece of news into the conversation. We got a delay of Stalker 2. It's supposed to be coming out in April.
December.
And so we have a bit of a dry first half of this year on the Xbox side. It seems like, there could be a surprise.
Like every year, that like we feel like we're getting a dry because like even last year, it kind of felt like it didn't kick in till August. I don't know. Maybe it was.
Do you think this is a good opportunity for Dying Light to shine as like the big Game Pass game of the release? Because you're coming out in a month that Elden Ring and Horizon come out. Like how do you stand out of that, right?
Yeah. This game does kind of breed that like Game Pass butter, like because it needs more people to be in for its long end. Like I think that's what like certain developers like about Game Pass. It's like if there's like a component where it's like, oh, we just need more players on because that like the life of this game's constant, like shelf life will be even more. So yeah, I agree with you. I hope it's a Game Pass game.
More word of mouth and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely, and it sells probably way more units. But
yeah, they're gonna have to. I think like I talked about this in one of my videos. You look at April now without Stalker 2. There's literally nothing. There's literally nothing coming out for Xbox, and we'll see what comes out on Game Pass. They may pull something out of their magic.
Yeah. Well, we got Rainbow Six out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like last year, you remember in April we got MLB out of nowhere, and then March you got Outriders out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I think, and they have a lot of money to spend. So I'm sure they're trying to do something. I mean, for me personally, I don't really care too much because I have so many games to play and such a huge backlog. But from like a marketing perspective, I think Xbox is going to try to definitely do something. Whether it's Dying Light or something else, I think they'll try for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
If Dying Light hits, it would be a good get. Because like MLB The Show is a PlayStation-made game. But everyone looked at that version as an Xbox exclusive almost. Like everyone was talking about it as being an Xbox game. Like I could not imagine Sony. Like I can almost guarantee you. Like we were saying, it will probably come back to Game Pass. I don't think so. It will probably go to Sony's Project Spartacus. Yeah.
Did you see they're pulling off the PS Now cards from stores? Apparently, so people are saying they're about to announce their next the Spartacus thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
see.
hopefully when they announce it, Microsoft can, one, be like, okay, xCloud is out of beta. Two, here's like a family pack, a streaming only option. Like, because like those people who just want to stream on their phone and not own the console, so you got to pay like $20 a month, like Canadian,
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
That's tough. So they got to restructure that for sure.
Yeah.
But man, Dying Light. Anyway, we all excited for it?
Oh,
Fingers
yeah.
crossed it comes to Game Pass.
I'm.
Oh, I hope. Yeah. It'd be
Yeah,
it'd be crazy.
Yeah, I hope Microsoft does the thing where like they realize that like we need to make sure like every month we need a banger. You know what I mean? And if they see like one AAA game that's like maybe they need some extra money, maybe they need like some extra, marketing money, or maybe they just need like some money to cover costs or something like that. I just feel like that's where Microsoft will.
I feel like they did that last year too, right?
Yeah.
Like, pretty much every month there was one huge game that came out.
Yeah, yeah.
The only month I can't remember is January. I forget. Unless but like February was the median.
Flight Simulator, or just in January. Sorry, July was Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But then again, this year we're starting January with Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
Which is bigger than I think a lot of people think. I think a lot of people are going to be playing that game, especially, and it's co-op too, right? So
yeah.
But the fact that Dying Light has that co-op like hook to it, it's such a good candidate for Game Pass. In my opinion.
I feel like the multiplayer games really shine more on Game Pass because you can.
Yeah.
It's basically free for like anybody like even if they don't have Game Pass, it's like okay, we'll get Game Pass for $1 and then we can play together for a month.
Yeah. The power of the shared library. I'm surprised their marketing doesn't like swing to that angle more. He's like, have a shared library with all your friends. When a game comes out, you all play.
I think Rainbow Six is doing like a buddy pass, like they call it, like and I think that's kind of smart because certain games kind of have to live on a different life, right? Than like the of just being bought as a game. So like, I think those are the certain like Game Pass games that are gonna like call Microsoft, or Microsoft's gonna call them and tell them, you guys are right though. I'm looking at this and going like, I want to see like all the coming soon for Game Pass, and I want to be able to be excited. And now since like Stalker 2 is like from April to December, that's like, oh, that's like a whole 9 months or 10 months of just like yeah. And then we have to be like
RPG, like
yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, we got Mass Effect, I guess. Well, we should be grateful, and we got Rainbow Six.
And maybe the next MLB in April.
By the way, this is the part of me that actually thinks it's going to happen because MLB, like the Major League Baseball, is the publisher for the Xbox version, right? So they're like an Xbox ID publisher, and they probably don't want to spend too much marketing money like how Sony would for their own PlayStation version. So they're probably going to be like, okay, we'll take the game. Or maybe Microsoft does some sort of like, like a 4 or 5 year, like during the Xbox Series X and S run. Here is like, here's a contract or something like that. Because I think they did that with EA. I don't know if you guys remember. Like, I feel like EA had something where like they did something for marketing, not for like what it was, but I'm just thinking for like sports games because we'll never know. There's a big market for it, right?
And sports games have like kind of like almost a niche market too that is getting missed out on because like I come from a pretty big hockey family and everything. Yeah. And so like I'm not always one to like pick up the like hockey games or anything like that. But when I go to visit my cousin or something, like, oh, he's got like NHL games and everything coming out the wazoo, and it's like, yeah, I'll pick one of those up and I'll start playing with them and everything. So I think Game Pass helps meet that market where it's like there's people who are sort of interested, or they definitely have friends who play like sports games and everything, and then they don't really pick it up because who wants to spend $60 on a game that you might play with one buddy? But now that it's on Game Pass and everything, it's like, okay, well, like, especially if you guys are both in there, like, maybe I'll give it a shot. I've never really played an MLB game before, so.
Yeah, and you think of EA Play as well within Game Pass, you get the 10-hour trials when the new ones come out, like the new NHL, new Madden, and then you get all those games for free like 6 months later. So I think, like, if you're someone who loves sports games, I mean, Xbox kind of has that as like a great option for you, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Josh previously said like there's people that just play like one game a year, and usually sometimes the sports gamer is playing their Madden, and that's really it for the whole year. So we'll see.
Why not dip your toe into other genres? That's, I guess, the beauty of Game Pass is you have, so many options in front of you. Like, how many games have we played on there that we probably would have never played at all?
So many.
Yeah, way too much. Like, Ember, like out of nowhere. We were never probably ever gonna play that game if it wasn't out for Game Pass, and even from Tony with that little one. But we should talk about games that we hope to play down the line, and because the future's bright for Xbox, and the one team that I'm kind of like closely looking at because they're hiring and they're expanding is Undead Labs. It looks like obviously they're expanding and definitely using that Microsoft wallet by opening a support studio, developing a new studio under the Undead Labs in Orlando, Florida. This is mostly focusing on directing and animation technology for Unreal Engine 5, for State of Decay 3, and fostering cross-studio animation technology collaboration and animation technology initiatives across Xbox game studios. That was just their own little heading. I think this is good because, I play the other few State of Decay games and they felt very janky. The graphics were they were like low budget levels. And now since they're owned by Microsoft and they're working on State of Decay 3, it doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon. You know what I mean? We saw that announcement trailer.
Taking their time for sure.
Yeah, but and I think right now they're actually still releasing more content for this year for State of Decay 2, if I remembered.
Yeah. So they're going to support it this year.
So they're obviously actively looking at State of Decay 2 and being like what works and what not. So I'm pretty sure State of Decay 3 is like at least a few years away. I mean, obviously it's going to be an Unreal Engine 5, but
I'd say probably late 23, maybe early 23 or 24.
Man.
Yeah.
That game is much better than I gave it credit for. I was like not sure I was going to be into that game at all, but like even the personalities of each of the characters that you get and everything, like it varies so much that it's actually like really interesting.
Yeah, it's deeper than I thought because I never really got into it, but my wife was playing it, and then I was just like randomly jumped in with her.
Yeah.
Just never gave it a chance, and she loved it because she loves like those like survival crafting kind of like scavenging looting games, right? And State of Decay 2 is actually a lot of fun if you give it a chance, and it's actually a lot deeper than you think. I think it's actually one of the better survival zombie games out there from what I've played, but I haven't put crazy hours, but she loves it too. So
definitely takes the mechanic of surviving and that whole like let's try and make a life for ourselves in this kind of crazy environment, a lot more serious than other games, for sure.
Some of it's really hilarious, too. Like, I got one character who just, like, paints rocks, and, like, he was not the most useful character, but, man, did I ever utilize the crap out of him, because he was a big dude, and I just, like, I loaded him up with a bat and just kept sending him into places, and I was just like, that's fine. If he dies, it's fine. And then, like, by the end of it, I was just like, I'm kind of attached to him, actually, now. Like, that little rock painter's been my friend.
Yeah.
So I feel like they have a good foundation, and it seems like this next title is really going to... Almost sounds like it's going to be like a server where it's persistent more so than just like a co-op experience.
Yeah.
So we'll see that. But I think what's more interesting is, one, they're transitioning to Unreal 5, which they announced not too long ago, but this whole cross-studio, like cross-Xbox Game Studio initiative, so they'll be supporting each other, and that's what I heard. We keep on hearing the coalition always seems to be almost like one of their best studios, but also one of their best support studios. It seems like they give a lot of support to other studios with, heck, they even give support to Epic Games on their own engine. They're like, okay, like you're the best at our own engine.
Yeah, Gear 6 is going to be insane. You just think about that.
Vastly underrated. 5 doesn't get a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting seeing like they're focusing on animation because, like you said, Andrew, it was always like janky. Like they always have this.
It's funny.
Jank to them.
Yeah, you were saying that because I was just like, I remember when that team got founded, like they made State of Decay, and it was more, like made to be like a budget game because they wanted the other team to focus on the MMO version, and then because people really like the co-op, they started focusing on that. But I remember going like, man, this team just needs like a facelift, you know? It just needs like a graphics facelift.
Yeah,
And since with like a support studio getting other developers, especially with Coalition, because mind you, it's like it's not even just like Coalition, but there's also a couple of other teams. I think InXile is doing an Unreal Engine 5 game that's not announced, and then Compulsion is working on an Unreal Engine 5 game. So there's probably, you know, quite a few. So
I've even just seen a few images released from Unreal Engine 5 that have just been like they have to label it as Unreal Engine 5 because it looks that real.
yeah.
Well, the whole Matrix City demo.
Yeah, it's
like I remember showing that to my wife, and I'm like, look at this. I'm like, it's all rendered. She's like,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, I think I can go over there. Actually, she's like, no way. And then I'm like moving the camera, and I'm flying over there, and she's like, fuck. Look
I
at
can't
that.
believe it. I can't believe it.
Like,
That's so
that's nuts. It's nuts. And the fact that I can even run on the One S.
Yeah.
That's the impressive thing. Yeah, that's what I thought too, because it looked around that and like you're paying what, like 300, I guess in Canada it's like what, 3 something,
79 or something like that.
Yeah.
And just I love that thing. And the fact that when it was running that demo, I was so impressed of how good it looked just on the Series S. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Well, it just shows that it comes down to the utilizing the like the hardware, their tools, as they say. They kept on saying, right?
Yeah.
And just showing that there's a nice God, just like thank God they're off that like mobile chip like they used to be on for like the Xbox One. But yeah, it just shows that the CPU was really the problem of the Xbox One. Like that what was it called? The Jaguar?
Jaguar, yeah. Well, the PS4 and Xbox One were both even at launch were pretty underpowered. That was one of the worst things about that generation. And then like the load times.
Yeah.
Even though it has like a less powerful GPU opposed to the One X, it shows that if you have the right CPU, GPU, and SSD now, you can get something crazy like that tech demo out of it. So it's cool.
I'm just wondering if they were to try to do it on those old gen, like how like loud would that PS4 be? 'Cause, like I have a PS4 and it's like anytime it's graphically intensive, it's like it's so loud that you can just hear it from like across the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's loud. Josh and Dan, I don't know if you guys ever had a PS4. Oh, yeah. It's freaking loud. It's so loud. Oh well. But yeah, no, you know, the future's bright. I just want to see these games now. Like I'm looking forward to E3, an online E3. I just want to see them now because I want these games to be good.
Well, what do we hear Sony keeps on buying all year? They've pretty much purchased mostly support studios all year. Yeah. So it's interesting, like people keep on saying, oh, buy your own support studio. I'm like, why don't you just make your own support studio? You have enough leadership probably there that you could be like, okay, let's open a second studio for Undead Labs in Orlando, Florida. Like why not? Playground Games has now 2 studios that run under its belt. I'm pretty sure a majority of their studios now have 2 studios running under their belt.
Or multi-team, like they're making 2 games at once or something like that. I think Coalition's doing 2 games at once. And I mean, certainly even 343 could probably do that because they have like a lot. They have like, I think they're the biggest one. I think they have almost like 600 people working on 343. So that's...
Well, yeah, it was like...
I don't know what
something crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's obviously all the gaming news for the week, but this episode is really about our Game of the Year awards. We want to give a special note. Some of these games that we're mentioning, they weren't released in 2021, but we just wanted to include it because they were like games that we played in 2021 and had like a really incredible time. So just in case somebody's like, hey, what the hell? That game didn't come out of 2021. Some of them did.
But you know, we have something to kind of appease that. So we're kind of all bringing to the table our 5 personal game of the years, games we've played this year.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of go like one at a time, like kind of like through 1 to 5. So we'll just throw to whoever.
Yeah.
But after this, we have a list of games, and we'll say them at the end of games that actually came out this year that you might notice there's some things missing from that list. But the reason like big games like Guardians of the Galaxy or things like that are not on it is because we didn't all play it. So we did come up with a list of games that did release in 2001 and 2021 that we will kind of hash it out at the end, you know?
Okay.
We'll fight each other to the death.
Yeah, that's what it's going to
unfriend each other, you know, all that fun stuff.
I don't know what that was. Like that was Andrew motioning some sort of roll the dice. That's, I guess it was like a Dungeons and Dragons attack. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I was thinking something else, Andrew, but you know,
oh,
where my mind goes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm out of here, guys. See you later.
Tony, I'm so sorry, bro. All right. Okay. Well, we'll start with
the
you.
Worst you'll get from me.
Yeah. Okay. So, Josh, give me your top 5, buddy.
Top 5. Okay, I guess I'll start with the first one. Halo Infinite.
Okay.
Halo Infinite. Just, you know, I can never have a year where a Halo game comes out and not be in at least my top 5 games. Even though it wasn't the perfect Halo, it was very enjoyable. You cannot, like, and any of you can say this, you cannot like go wrong with that gameplay. The gameplay it just shows that Halo was the best console first-person shooter in gameplay, and it still is to this day. So Halo Infinite is one of my picks for sure. Not my number 1 pick, but
okay. All right,
one of them for sure.
What's
right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Who's next, Andrew? You go.
Oh, for me, I'm gonna go. My pick is Guardians of the Galaxy. This is all I gotta say is that obviously I don't think Tony, have you played this game yet?
I have it. I bought on Black Friday. I haven't got around to playing it yet.
I'm so excited for you to play this game. I'm lending Josh it, and then after that, Josh is sending to Dan. This is like a game up my alley. I mean, what it really reminds me of, like at a core, before I because I don't want to speak too much because I want to keep going on this, is that this is like a funny version of Mass Effect 2. Like it's like an action RPG, but it feels like a funny version of Mass Effect 2. And I like the movies. This is better than the movies. It's that much of a surprise of the year. Everybody's been talking about this, and they're exactly right. The dramatic moments to the comedic moments, the soundtrack, everything about the graphics, some of the best facial animations I've ever seen in a while. And this is like a studio that I think we're gonna like watch next, because this game surprised the crap out of everybody. 100 times better than the Avengers.
Well, I feel like the studio showing their worth. It's the guys who did Deus Ex. Like, yeah, they did good stuff. So
gameplay's fun. Everything about it is fun. Fucking love it.
Well, it's funny. It shows that they have a better sense of humor than because their Deus Ex games were always like kind of like hella serious, but like you can't take it serious at the same time. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Next goes Dan. Dan, what's your?
Mine was very much the same as Josh's, because you can't go wrong with Halo. I mean, it's like ingrained now. Like that's what I started on Xbox with.
Yeah,
probably what I'll die on Xbox with.
Amazing.
Be an 80-year-old man, be like, "Oh, show you." Oh,
yeah. Nice.
Show you how to get headshots.
Yeah.
You just can't go wrong. Like Halo's.
Yeah.
So if you want to play Tactical Slayer, he's like, we called it SWAT in my day.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been around for so long. Like I couldn't say no to it. It's just one of the best.
Awesome. And then where are we going? And then we're doing number 2, right, Josh? So we're
No, it's Tony's turn.
Tony's turn. Oh, Tony, what's your turn? I'm just kidding.
I didn't know what any Tonys were, so I don't got any pictures for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be on with you guys too, because I'm going to not go off script and I'm going to go with Halo Infinite 2 right now. For the reasons you guys said, and it's just such a fun game. Like, you pick that game up, it's probably the best first-person shooter gameplay I think I may have ever played. I don't think that's too much of a stretch. Like, it's that good. And I know we talked about at the beginning of the show, even though it's missing a bunch of stuff we want to see them add to it, we still love it that much with like the gameplay. They did a decent job on the campaign story. The multiplayer is addicting, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Halo Infinite.
Nice.
Yeah, it's absolutely great as is, and then there's even more going to be coming. So
Yeah. And I don't think those updates will be Xbox One compatible.
No,
I think they'll do the Destiny thing.
I think the first one will be, and I don't know.
it'll be
I think
cloud
the
based.
first
I guess.
seasons, but
Yeah.
like the expansions, no.
I
The
think
cloud thing is super smart because they're still fulfilling their promise that everything's going to be cross compatible for 2 years, but however long they said, but it's just going to be through the cloud, right? So
that's true. That's true.
All right, back to me. My second pick out of my 5 is The Ascent. That game might be one of the most impressive graphically. It's not a perfect game by all means, not a perfect game, but the world, like, I know Andrew and Dan played it. Tony, did you play? You played The Ascent a bit, I think.
yeah, I played it with my wife as well, and we both actually enjoyed it. And the graphics thing is super cool, like the particles and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my god! And just like the stuff going on in the background,
The living world is crazy. Yeah,
it's such a dense world to it. And
I had once or twice, even when I was like glitched through something, and I had been walking around a little bit and everything, and I was walking like way into the background, and everything was still moving and functioning like it should be. It was crazy.
Even like around corners, like things where you're like, there shouldn't be anything rendered behind here because you never see it because it's a fixed camera, but it's there. Like somebody did like a boundary break for it, and like you can read the newspapers on the tables. I'm like, this is an isometric, like twin stick shooter. Like, why?
Somebody did a mod for first person too.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that was like a bug or something. I don't know. I think it was whichever it was.
So the Ascent, easily. What an enjoyable game.
Nice. Well, for me, my second pick is probably a game that none of you three as well played, but I hope you will play it. It's an indie game, and it came out last year. But
I haven't even heard of this game, so I'm not sure if I've got the right pick.
I think you do. I think I saw the pick. It's Yes, Your Grace. Thank you, Dan. Look at you. This is a castle simulation game set in the medieval times, where you are a king that is about to get invaded by like a northern army, and you are low on soldiers. So what you're doing is you're trying to make sure you have enough gold and enough money, and meanwhile you're trying to get way more money than you need to. So you're selling your daughters for marriages, and it is
your kind of game.
Okay, I know it sounds weird, but the drama behind it, it feels like I'm like watching, like a movie in these eyes, and like even though it's all text-based, it's really fun because there's all these like multiple choices, and you're just like, you're scared of every choice you make, and you got to make sure you survive, and there's like a second half of the story where I don't want to spoil. All I'll say is that if you just want like a game that maybe you just play on your phone, you know what I mean? Like this is a perfect game that's just on like xCloud or something that you just don't like. You just want to click and you just don't want to do any like too much stuff. Perfect game for it. Love it.
So just to clarify, in the second half of that game, it's going to be the plague, right? And everybody just dies. Just like what we're experiencing right now, right?
Something like that. Actually, no. What I do like about the second half is that it goes to a point where it's like there's like a no-win scenario. It really reminds me of like Actually, what it kind of reminded me of like that Game of Thrones season 2 episode where, you're about to, I don't know if you guys remember season 2, but like when they're getting invaded, the castle. Um, so it has that vibes where you're like, oh crap, like you are protecting your castle, but like there's way too many people. Did you have enough? Do you have enough preparations? And even though it's like, small little like, cartoon little graphics, it's very good. It's very touching. Great music as well. I like Irish folklore music on it. Original Irish folklore music on it. So it's really beautiful. And everybody just mumbles and all that stuff. But I like it. It's definitely up my alley. Got me out of surprise. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean, like mumble? It's like a banjo kazooie, like
more like okay. So like the dad is like, and then the little girl's like,
it's like Charlie Brown.
Yeah, the girl's like, and when she says that, it's like, and the way she sounds it, it's like, well, my sister's picking on me and she won't let me, and she's pulling my hair, but like, but her sound's like me, and you're just like, okay, I get it. I'm like, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna talk to. Don't
worry, I'll sell your sister. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. He's like pause, settings, audio, voice.
Yeah.
All the way to the bottom. Okay.
It's secretly a dad simulator. That's what I'll say. It's secretly a dad simulator. It is at heart, but it's very touching.
How often you're supposed to be selling your children?
Yeah. Well, the thing is also like, what is it? Like, you really want a son? That's like one part of the thing. Just give it a shot. I know it sounds weird. It's like
right.
I hope I sold it for you, by the way, because like I know it's not probably everybody's game, but I
sold it for me. If that's the one thing I want as a dad, like I could sell my children every once in a while.
Not get in trouble, right? It's like, give me some peace.
Can I be a hero for it?
Yeah. There's some very hard sacrifices.
Other parents are just like, he did it.
Yeah, I'll say it's just very hard sacrifices that you have to do, and you're kind of like, oh man, fuck. Like all I'll say is that it's very touching, and it really, like, the writing clearly shows you that like they've handled the dramatic elements really well. But at core, it's a dad simulator, folks. Give it a shot, please. All right, Dan, give me your choice.
My second choice for my games of the year was Doom Eternal. I've been playing Doom. I think Doom was actually one of the very first video games that I ever played when I was not supposed to be. Oh, no, sorry. Actually, I found out it was Wolfenstein. So when I was like way too young to be playing these games and everything, my dad actually got me into his computer room, and he had a computer set up and everything. And he had Wolfenstein playing, but it had a mod on it. And so it was Barney Stein.
Yeah.
And so all the enemies had turned into evil Barneys with like super sharp teeth and everything. And I was at the age where I was enjoying Barney, I think, or just a little past that probably.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I didn't sleep too well that night. But
or watch Barney every night.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember playing Doom from the very first Doom all the way up to like Doom 3 when it got like real dark and everything, and then the newer Doom games where they actually kind of touched a little truer to home. And the Doom 3 was good in its own right, but it was very much
like a survival horror.
Yeah, it was more of a survival horror than a Doom game. I kind of felt like these ones felt like Doom.
Yeah,
like it felt like an updated version of the original Doom, like the first-person shooter out on like any video gaming system and everything. And Doom Eternal does its job, and it's fun to play. Like, it's fast-paced and everything. You're jumping around the map, and the faster, the better you move in there. It's just the more badass you feel.
Yeah.
And you got to play with the ray tracing update, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. One of the prettiest games ever. I love that engine. So one of the more underrated.
You played it in its final form.
Yeah. Such a great game. Even though we don't have art for it, Tony, give me a number.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go, I think, with Death's Door as my second one.
Oh. Josh, you also played it. Yeah.
Almost made my list.
Nice.
Yeah, I love like those style of games. It was kind of like a Zelda style. Just a lot of fun, great combat. Toast just came in and started attacking me. Just a great game, great music, cool graphics. And like I'm super excited for Tunic, which looks like a similar style of game Death Star, and I think that may be in my game of year next year. But yeah, so definitely gonna go with Death Star for my second one.
Oh yeah, I love the art style for Death Star. Very simple, had a nice color palette to it.
Yeah.
The enemy designs were really cool, like that castle
Yeah.
thing you fought at the beginning. And just like the whole world, like the character, the pothead character, not like smoking pot, but like he had a pot for a head, but you know.
Yeah.
Hey, we're Canadian. It's legal here, guys.
Yeah.
We listen in the States. And yeah, there was. Did you notice there was like that one person? I think it was like the shopkeep, and it looked like a corpse, but it was like a squid that was like controlling his body. Oh man, there's some weird characters.
A lot of weird stuff in that game, and there's so many different ways you can play it, like just playing just with the umbrella through the entire thing, like challenge yourself.
Yeah.
So that just reminds me. Now I gotta revamp my whole list because I can put Octodad on there. Have you guys tried Octodad at all?
I haven't tried it, but it looks cool too.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. The whole premise behind it is you're just an octopus who's been posing as a human being, and you're a dad now, and you're you have to control each of the tentacles with different like controls and everything, so it's incredibly hard to control.
It came out with the height of I Am Bread and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was absolutely silly, but it was a fun game to play.
Awesome. I would give it a shot. Death Star.
Those kids are your real kids, so I don't know how that happened.
All right, and then now we're going to number 3. Josh.
Number 3, I'm gonna go with just to kind of stay on what Dan was saying. Doom Eternal as well.
Nice.
We were kind of all playing that at the same time, and I never really played
number 3.
There's no real order to it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, my number 4 was Halo.
I'll tell you what my game of the year. There's no real order to my thing, but instead of us like talking about Doom again, Doom Definitely Eternal was one of my top 5 game of the years for sure. So not my number 3, Dan. I don't have an order, but I do have a top my favorite game of the year. That's for sure. But Doom Eternal for sure. Never really played Doom games before, but they added the ray tracing, and then you tweak the controls a little bit to make sure that they work to your advantage. And the game is for what it is. You get that nice flow of like, I'm gonna like, oh, you see the guy is vulnerable, he's flashing, you just like run to him like a bat out of hell and just like crush him and like get that extra life back and get your ammo. So they had this like really cool like its own like flow
chain combos.
Chain combos, like getting like the only way to get health is to do this thing, the only way to get armor is to do this thing. So definitely Doom Eternal is one of my God, what an amazing game. Like even though I'm out this year or last year.
That chainsaw.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
I'll go to my 3 so we can kind of like speed this thing up. But MLB The Show, the 21. Just because I got to play it, that's all I'm going to say. Because like I don't have I no longer have a PS4, so I'm kind of like, God, am I going to buy RBI Baseball? RBI Baseball is like a really shitty game, whoever's been playing it, but I'm just happy that this game's on Game Pass. But hey, this developer, they've constantly made a great baseball game. I think they've been making a great baseball game forever, and like I think maybe once the show really started hitting off in the like the PS4 era, it was like the sports games out of like the big sports games. This was the one that works. Great RPG elements, great character creations, just so much to offer if you love baseball. But for a sports game, finally something that's really worth the price for every yearly annual releases. Sports games tend to just release annually. MLB The Show is no different sometimes. They don't like make slight changes, but the additions that they have every year always just feels like, bang for your buck. The fact that it's on Game Pass is even better. Tony, I don't know. Like I feel like Tony, you're probably gonna say the same on this one, but
Yeah, no, definitely. If you love baseball, if you love, even if like, I always say to people, if you kind of just like RPGs, like playing Road to the Show is kind of like a cool sports RPG that's worth checking out. Like it's a ton of fun. There's like dialogue, there's like training, you level up your guy, and it's just an awesome game, awesome sports game. Probably the best sports game out there.
Yeah. I made a guy that looked like me, even though he probably does not look like a baseball player, and because like so it's just really funny to like be like, and I'm a pitcher on the mound, and like I'm throwing like 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and like it's physically impossible for like a body like that.
I always wanted to be.
Yeah, but it might, it's like you're leaving your dreams, and it's like it's funny because like it's there's this RPG element where like. Obviously you create your character, but like, you're going through the minor leagues and you're just trying to level up each league, and like, you get coaching and all this little things. So much in that game. It's a ridiculous amount. And then they have that crazy little like Diamond Dynasty mode where it seems so perfect to be on Game Pass because you have to buy a bunch of cards to get it. And it's like, like the people who are going to buy microtransactions, those people are spending bank on that stuff. So
Game Pass had perks for that mode too, which they were giving out.
Yeah, so smart because I ended up spending a lot of money on microtransactions on that one. Dan, what's your number 3?
Well, like I was saying, I keep going back to it. I just can't stop. Forza.
Oh my god, nice. I mean, what can we say before? Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's been good. Like you can't really go wrong with it. For a driving game and everything, it's everything I want in a driving game.
Nice.
It's just like I can play some arcadey stuff. I can do off-road. I can do on-road. I can do sports cars. I've even got like the crappiest little tiny, like it looks like a 3-wheeled car, but there's actually like a dual wheel in the back. I painted it up like Sonic, and so it's all like just messed up Sonic. And it just like, I tuned it up so that it just goes like no tomorrow. Its top speed is 104 miles per hour, but man, does it go 104 miles per hour real quick.
And and you said it perfectly. It's a driving game. Like, man, that game just you can say all these things and it's like, oh yeah, and I race in the game too.
Yeah. I was playing it today, just doing just random stuff like just getting all the XP boards and the fast travel, and then like the drifting. And like where you try to get like max speed and go off the ramps and stuff, like just driving around and ramps. And the best part I find about it is like, for me, I don't play racing games really, but like absolutely love Forza, which is rare.
I feel like that's the thing. Like and that's why I hear so many people saying is like, I don't play racing games, but I play Forza. What's that? You probably know the saying. Is it a beer saying? He's like, I don't always drink, but when I do, it's a Dos Equis.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't always play racing games, but when I do, it's Forza.
Okay. Nice. I don't know why it's not on my list. I just realized it. I'm like, why the hell is that game not on my list?
It's not on my list either.
Yeah, it's weird.
You guys are both fired. Get off.
Yeah, I know.
Just leave now.
I think, I'm like in my head going like, oh shit, I also realized like Halo Infinite's on my list, and I'm just like, we already kind of like mentioned it, so like I should probably add that so we can kind of, that was my 4th list. Tony, what's...
Well, it's on my list, so I guess I'll go with it.
Yeah.
I might as well keep it. I mean, I already explained why I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tony can say you guys leave.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, look at her thing. Josh, give me, this is going to be your 4th, I guess, now? It's going to be your 4th?
Yeah, so 4th will be a great indie game that came out earlier in the year. Had a mean soundtrack, and we'll talk about that. Naruto Boy. I thought this game was just, the story was super cool. There's some weird kind of backtracking here at the beginning, but once you kind of get further into the game, it has such a unique world look. And the ending is really awesome, and it makes you like can't wait for the second one. They do that great line from Back to the Future. He's like, what about the sword? He's like, where we're going. He's like, we don't need the sword.
I started playing it. I haven't finished it just yet, but it's good.
It's
great music too on that one.
Yeah,
oh, man, music.
Tron It's got like that Tron look going on.
Oh yeah, very Tron inspired because you're in like the whole like digital world.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very very Tron inspired game. But
Nice.
Naruto Boy, yeah,
Awesome.
go check it out. I think it's still on Game Pass. So
Yeah.
you can check it out.
Yeah, it's true.
I think too, so you can play right on your phone.
Yeah. I should probably do more indies on that one. I'm gonna go to my fifth because I actually also wanted to add Halo Infinite. Actually, sorry, no, we'll go to. Sorry about that. No, don't go to me. Dan, fuck, I'm screwing it up. Dan, what's your fourth?
Andrew? You were
Dude.
Pardon?
You did not screw it up. It was your turn.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, it was already added, but like it was going to be Halo Infinite, so that's why I'm just like, fuck. But anyway, so I'm not going to say anything more about it. Obviously, the fact is that, yeah, everything that's added about,
I love and hate it.
Love and hate it, and I hate the fact that it's on my list. That's all I'm going to say. I just hate it that it's on my list because I'm like, I kind of wish it wasn't. That's all. That's my.
Love it, but I hate my list.
Yeah. Dan, you go ahead because I hate the fact that I don't want to talk more about Halo anymore. I'm just tired.
I got a nice fresh one for you guys. Some Back for Blood.
Ooh, thank you. Yeah. Something new.
Because it just hones back to Left 4 Dead days and everything. Like, I mean, we played the crap out of those, and it's just a good experience. It's a nice cooperative game where you're just going through together. Each person can kind of take their role and run with it, and all the abilities work well and everything too. Like I was mostly running one lady who can just detect like the wall crawlers or whatever through walls and everything. So I have like a bit of a distance on it, and it was just I forget exactly what they're called, but they're like hold up on the wall and they'll jump out at you and tackle someone and like hold you down, right?
Yeah.
And so it was just super helpful to have that ability. It wasn't one of the like most useful abilities ever, but it was like keeping people from getting knocked down, especially when you got to run through an area when you're trying to run away from a horde of people. Man, was that ever useful.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing you need when you're trying to get away from a horde is someone pinning you to the ground.
I heard they updated the game quite a bit, and it's supposed to be a lot better actually now. So we'll see what the roadmap for the rest of the year kind of looks like. It's supposed to be the Tunnel of Terror is coming.
Yeah, the card system was good too. Like I found I wanted to collect the cards and everything. I didn't like having to collect some of them, but it was good.
So, did you ask me?
Yeah. Did you end up playing?
I played Back for Blood like very little, not enough to get a full like thoughts on it, I guess. But yeah, I played it a bit.
We should all try that again. I think
we're gonna have to rope Tony in, get him in there.
Yeah,
I jump in for sure.
There's a great bar scene in the game, Tony.
That is the best part.
Where the jukebox goes and it's like playing just like music, and there's just like zombies pouring into the bar. It's a great part in the game.
That sounds awesome.
Nice.
All right. Almost done. Tony, next one for you.
Next one, Psychonauts 2. It's in there for sure. I love 3D platformers. Always have, like all the way back to like PS2 days, or like in the original Xbox days. Those are huge games for me, like the Sly Coopers and the Ratchet and Clanks and the Jack and Daxters and stuff. And I feel like Psychonauts 2 is just another incredible 3D platformer. A very deep and mature story that was super surprising to me as I finished the game, and graphically stunning, great music, especially the part with like the band and stuff, super cool.
Yeah, music was amazing.
Yeah,
going in between the levels and the portals and stuff.
The portals, very, very cool. And the platforming was fun. It was great. I mean, probably one of my favorite platformers, 3 platformers I played in a long time too. So
makes me feel like I'm playing an N64 again.
Yeah, brings back.
True. We need more platformers for sure.
Yeah, and I think Xbox needs like a mascot type of thing, a 3D platformer to compete with like
Banjo.
Yeah,
bring back Banjo. That'd be awesome. Everyone wants it. So they do
it's excuse me, it's Blinks. It's Blinks, guys. Come on, what the heck?
Oh, Blinks. Yeah, Blinks.
Blinks. It's not. It's Blinks.
Honestly, wouldn't it be interesting if Tim Schafer was like, "Why don't we do Banjo?" It's so interesting if they took like a kind of a twist to it. Banjo, just kind of reboot them, almost.
Yeah.
Do a Double Fine twist to it.
Be risky,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Also, I think he wants to do original stories. I can tell. Like he really seems to be very adamant
They
about
have
wanting.
a couple things in the works now.
I think for me, Double Fine is up there, and one of the studios I'm most excited for to see what comes next from them, especially with all the backing of Microsoft. Like you saw how that transformed Psychonauts 2.
Yeah,
and if they make more platformers, more like quirky games like that, I'm just all for it.
Yeah.
I've always liked Double Fine games. They're good.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
I feel like now it shows this is almost like a little test bed of. He's like, give them a little more of a budget. I feel like they could do something really special.
Come on Unreal Engine 5 and see what they do with that.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool. All right. Going to our fifth.
My last
favorite
game I played this year, and it was a long game. It was a scary game. It made me jump. It made me legit scared to my core. And it's a game that came out years ago, but it got a FPS boost, and it had auto HDR, and that's Alien Isolation. That game, like, Microsoft, buy this team. This is like a Sobo kind of like another company like that. I'm like, man, they have so much potential. Alien Isolation is incredible. There's moments in that game where I was hiding in a locker and I see like a person just like walking down the hall, and I'm just like, oh man, you're walking down the hall. The alien is like right there, and I see it just jump down and just like take the guy out, and I'm just like, oh crap. Like the game.
I'm too scared to play it, but I'm kind of like, I gotta not be a pussy. That developer.
That was my favorite game I played this year for sure. Even though it didn't come out in 2021.
It's like 15 or 16. That developer is Creative Assembly, and they're known for like strategy games and Halo Wars. I'm like, that's a perfect PC developer for Microsoft, and obviously Alien Isolation. So that's a perfect developer to get. It's like on a solo level. Oof.
So one of those games gets your heart going.
Yeah. I don't know if I could. I don't know. Maybe I could play the game with like the lights on or something. I don't know, guys. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I don't know what it is. Like even with Dead Space, I remember being like, just Dead Space used to scare the crap out of me. All right. Well, my last pick is Age of Empires 4. I might be the old, maybe the guy that's always been playing Age of Empires 2 when I was a kid, but at first I kind of hated some of the presentation qualities on this game. Like they didn't have like the cinematics, and they had like this weird like documentary thing. But at the same time, I'm just happy that they stick to like core gameplay, and they didn't change that much, but they did some like nice little revisions. The fact that this is a game that I'm still playing skirmishes with my friends, and still constantly playing it, and it's getting constant updates. I really like it. I hope more people are playing this game. I'm glad it's on Game Pass. I'm glad it's kind of... actually, I'm glad that Microsoft didn't give up on this franchise, because this is like a beloved franchise. A lot of people in the 90s played this, late 90s. This was like a top game in the late 90s. This was like... this and Counter-Strike was like, the two big games, right? And like, I'm just... the great thing is also that you can play on a shitty PC that's like 10 or 12 years old, like my PC, and I could have low specs. Or you could play it in a bumped up PC.
Play on your PC.
Yeah, and it's just
having this conversation is amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's an old baby, right? But I'm just happy to see like the fact that there's a game that's coming out in so currently that's also it's like it can handle like the most highest end, and it's just clearly made for PC. I just hope personally, I might be the only one here, but I just hope there's an Xbox console version, because I think I'm hearing that too. I just hope there's more RTS games for console players, because I loved Halo Wars, and I also really liked Age of Empires 4. It's nowhere as good as Halo Wars in terms of like an entertainment value, but it definitely has that like crazy amount of hours to put in, all that stuff. So yeah,
I feel like the thing that always held those back the most was the controller.
Yeah.
And like now that PC keyboard and mouse can be used on consoles and everything too. Like it's
Yeah.
But me
it
and Tony
removes that barrier.
Star Wars 2 this year. The controls for console were fairly good. Like
They were good, yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
All right.
Yes. Dan.
Dan.
And my last game of the year, one Josh already kind of went over there, The Ascent.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was just like, it was awesome to play with you guys. It was awesome to get through there, help Andrew beat the game and have him abandon me, so I had to beat the game with Josh.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
That's all right. It was an awesome game to play, and it was just fun to get it all out there.
Yeah. Nice.
Just
Awesome.
awesome backgrounds and everything.
Yeah.
Graphics are still
Still pretty. Still pretty.
What about you, Tony? You got one last one for us?
I'm gonna go with Resident Evil Village for my last one.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard about it. I mean, you got the scary big lady chasing you around, and
You step on me.
graphically just stunning. A good story, great puzzles. Like it was just another great entry, and I loved Resident Evil 7. So Biohazard, and then they kind of just added onto it and improved on that first person formula. Some people think it's not a real Resident Evil game. I kind of disagree. I love it. So
Yeah.
I'll go Resident Evil Village.
Graphics were amazing, actually. Like really next gen.
Incredible. Worth checking out just for like a showpiece if you want to just quickly like see them. But if you like Alien Isolation, I feel like you probably will love Resident Evil Village too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Give it a shot, Josh.
I remember playing a few different Resident Evils in co-op, even with a couple of people. It was good.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's scary as hell. Like it's stressful playing.
Yeah. Well, when you're getting chased, it's scary. Like you're running into rooms. There's certain rooms she won't go in, and she'll like look in, but it is scary.
Isn't there like a baby that chases you?
In this one, no, I don't think so.
And like a really messed up, it's like a giant baby that like chases after you.
Oh yeah, okay.
7?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Not in 8 though, in 7.
Yeah, 8. Sorry. No, in 8, the new one. Yeah.
I can't. I think so. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, it is scary. There's points where you're just like you're lost and you're just trying to escape and get away, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I remember you like just not fast enough. They make them just a little bit faster than you and everything too. So you really got to rely on like getting around corners and stuff. And
Yeah.
You're just making sure you're going into the correct room so she can't come in, where you can take a breather and.
Yeah, and then she like crawls in the room, and you're like, "God damn!"
She does like look under and like look into the door at times, and that part's creepy as hell.
He's like, "Yeah, someone didn't design your house good enough, right?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. All right, so that is our top 5 games of
top 5 games of the year.
21.
Nice. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, Andrew, guide us to the next one.
To the soundtrack?
Well, yeah, no. So yeah, we have. Let's pick, like what we think.
What our number one?
Our honorable mentions for soundtrack of the year. Soundtrack, I would say, would be best soundtracks of this year that we've put on the list here is and any of you guys check this out. They should be on Spotify. I've listened to the.
I think they're all on Spotify. Yeah.
Spotify. So what we personally think are the top 6 soundtrack of the year is The Ascent. The Ascent is a wicked cyberpunk. When like the combat starts in that game, the music starts going. It's kind of like nothing else. Psychonauts 2 had a nice quirky soundtrack, very much fit the overall feel of the game itself. What did you guys think of the Psychonauts soundtrack?
That whole jazz soundtrack was fantastic, but each level having like its own unique little baby going on. Just like little like cross genres of like blues and everything. I just thought it was like I'd love to see the band that would perform this, the Psychonauts 2 soundtrack, because it was just a lot of fun. So
They tuned it really well to fit the gameplay.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So, Andrew, you would have a better idea for this.
Yes, because I was just like about to say, like, I put this in here and I'm just like,
Do
guys,
they have original?
they have, so there's actually a fictional band called the Guardians of the Galaxy that Peter, like a young Peter listens to, and it's an 80s hair metal glam rock band. And it's a lot of fun. And so the thing is, like, when you're streaming on Guardians of the Galaxy game, there's a lot of licensed music. And by the way, the licensed music is amazing. If you've liked the original Guardians music, a lot of people loved that one. This one is more
Makes
like
it
an
impossible
80s.
to stream.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. This one's an 80s one. But this like original band that the developers, like the music guys who were behind it, they made like a fictional band and like with real photos of them, and they were like parts of the developers. I just thought it was really adorable because it's like one of the first games like you're seeing. Yeah, you're seeing an album cover and you're like, okay, these people kind of look like developers with large long hair, like, which is kind of like cheesy about it. But Guardians has this, and plus I'm a rock, I love rock music. So if you're more into like, like distortion metal, it's very like pre-Metallica kind of thing vibes going on. A lot of fun. Just, yeah, listen to it. They've got about like, I think a whole album full list. Like they pretended to be a real band called the Guardians of the Galaxy. So a lot of fun.
Well, that's what the movies were famous for, right? Was their soundtracks and everything. Like he's always carrying around the tape deck and everything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
So
got the best soundtracks.
well, it's interesting you said that because so the game has this really cool power up mechanic where, like, let's just say you want to get everybody's powers all the way up. And it's not spoiler because like you're gonna do it like 100 times. You get everybody to a huddle, and then like you're telling everybody, and once the huddle's over, it's one of the like the licensed soundtracks. So you're gonna be like, hey, like you're just like it just starts to go into this part, and you're like, okay, this is cool. I've never done this in a game, but it's a lot of fun. Licensed soundtrack in this game is just as great as the movie, and yeah, just a complete fun. So yeah, definitely liked it.
So speaking of rock music, we also have the Artful Escape that had it. The game is pretty much a soundtrack in itself.
Yeah.
We were also talking earlier, Naruto Boy. That's personally my favorite soundtrack of the year. So a nice, almost reminds me of Daft Punk.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I would say our last mention is Halo Infinite. Kind of take on a classic. What did you think of
music?
Kind of Halo Infinite's like reinvention of their sound?
I think da-da-da-da.
I just love the way they use the music as you're just running through the world and it's just coming on like the perfect moments. Like you're walking over a hill and there's a bunch of enemies and it just pops on and just makes it all that more atmospheric. So that was the best part for me for Halo was just how they use the music.
My only thing is that like, like it's a like the guy who actually did Halo Infinite did Ori's. So it's a little bit more interesting in certain key parts on it. I think there's actually a couple of other people.
There's like two or three guys, I think. Yeah.
But the one guy's Garrett Coker, and he did the Ori games. And so sometimes when I've noticed a few soundtracks were quite good. For me, I'm like, it's still a very good thing, but like nothing compares to like Marty O'Donnell's score. So that's just my opinion on it. Like I just think that original Halo stuff from like Marty O'Donnell is still like cream of the crop, and it's like I think about like from like the first trilogy to Reach to even like ODST's like great jazz track. But Infinite, I would say, is still pretty good. It's just I don't know if it's as the best as the other ones. That's all I'll say. I don't know.
Definitely one of the best this year for sure.
Yeah. Is it good enough for this year though?
Yeah, I would say. I think this problem is like for me, it's like I have like these crazy high expectations of Halo. That's why I don't want to talk about Halo while you guys are talking about it. Because like even though it's like in my top 5, I don't want it to be in my top 5, but it's in my.
You don't want to talk about Halo.
I just just because I've got like this love and hate thing with Halo. I'm just done with it. I'm sorry, guys. I know like we're supposed to be doing Game of the Year, and I'm just like, guys, it's
at the end of the battle pass, and you start crying. So it's okay.
yeah. We'll see, folks. We'll see.
Okay.
You have any games that you really liked soundtrack on, Tony?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, out of that list there, Artful Escape I thought was really good. But I feel like the Artful Escape was more of like an experience than a game. Because
Yeah.
you're kind of just like pushing one button and then you have a very small like rhythm parts to it. But like the mix of like folk and then like the guitar riffs and like the rock and stuff was super cool. I really, really like the Artful Escape music.
Yeah.
I feel like that was more of a game like with a soundtrack that had a game attached onto it.
Yeah,
rather than
yeah.
the other way around. Yeah.
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 Experience, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Well, I was gonna say, well, we can get into the list of what how should we do this? Well, I'll just like blurt out at the same time what game we think out of this list deserves the game of the year.
Year of 2021.
You know, all other outlets who talk about games will be talking about this moment right here.
Yeah, because we're giving it a different way. We're giving it a different spin. We're just sending a bunch. But yes, we should talk about our, collective game of the year, and we're obviously fighting it out and saying which one's best. That was quoted by Josh saying he's fighting it out. I'm just going to be a peaceful person here. All right, so
To be fair, Tony didn't get in on this. So.
to be fair,
So if he doesn't like him,
Yeah.
it's too bad for him.
So Tony's probably like, guys,
Got his own channel for that.
yeah.
You
like-
guys should go check it out.
Yeah. It's called the Plume Cast, folks. Watch the Plume Cast. All right, so let's do our, top 2021, like our collective ones. And so we have 6 games that are top 21. I have to start with the one, even though I don't fucking want to keep saying it all the time, but Halo is on our list. I just don't know why I have to say it. I wish somebody else would talk about Halo instead of me, even though I'm the host. I fucking hate it. I'm just kidding. I love
Halo's this cool game about rings.
I'm just so I want
much
more.
info as you
That's all. But at the same time, I'm also playing the game like nonstop. So
That's how you know how good it was.
yeah. I feel like I'm like in a the year 40 of the marriage.
Why you make me so mad? It's like I didn't want to hate.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And we should say that, because obviously collectively, excusing my behavior and my thoughts on it. Number 2 is Forza Horizon 5, obviously. Probably the most highly critically acclaimed Xbox game of 2021, for sure, from all the outlets. But I think overall it's kind of had like a benchmark for all that stuff. And then the other 4 is kind of like we put these on because we all collectively played a ton of hours on, so it could probably, but we really feel like we have to kind of mention it. And I think number 3 is Back for Blood. I think we did put a ton of hours on this, I think, as a collective team. Everything we've said mentioned before, and also Dan put it on his top 5. Obviously a great co-op shooter. Going to an isometric co-op shooter, number 4 is The Ascent. What can we say about it except the fact that it's just it can't.
Cool
Yeah,
game.
just cool game. Just want to see the next one. Number 5 is one that probably fits a need for Xbox in my opinion. And that's platformers, and that's Psychonauts 2. I would say it's certainly on that list, and it's kind of deservedly so. And then last, it's one of those things where it's like people can be like, why this? But really, if you think about it, we all kind of played it when it came out, and we all played a lot of it because we had a drought in April, and it was kind of a surprise game for a lot of us, and that's Outriders. Might not be everybody's cup of tea. It could be a little janky for some, but I really like this People Can Fly game. It had this really like weird B movie storyline going at it.
Very B movie for sure.
Very B movie, very just completely cheesy and just like generic character model and all that stuff. But we put a ton of hours on it. We played a lot of it, and sometimes we kind of look and reflect back, and like when we're making these lists, it's like what's also how many hours did we also spend? And we could be mad about it. We could be angry about the battle pass. We could be angry about all the little notes and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are you playing a lot of? And that is sometimes a thing to talk about. And so, I do like the fact that we kind of mention these games. So now we're going to fight about it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what deserves the number one spot in this. I will personally say what I think, and I personally think it's Psychonauts 2. That game, for subject matter, gameplay, graphics, and kind of just like what we need, and kind of the encompasses the potential of this new Xbox studio going forward. I think the Psychonauts 2 deserves that. What do you think of this list?
Tony, what do you think?
It depends how I look at it. If I look at it at like what game like deserves it, like you said, I'd have to go with Psychonauts 2 or Forza, I would say. But if it's my personal choice, I got to go with Halo. I've had the most fun out of all of those games playing Halo for me. Yeah. So for me, that's my personal game of the year.
I feel very much like Tony. I think objectively though, I think Forza takes it for me because it's the only game that's pulled me out of the genre that like I don't generally play, and it forces me to keep going back to it. I'm just like, I see that and I'm like, I don't really want to play some of these other games. Like I've been playing them for a little while and everything, but Forza's just like, okay, I can jump in that for a few minutes and I'll have fun, and I know it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Andrew?
For me, is clearly Yes, Your Grace, guys. You guys are all freaking wrong. I'm just, yeah, you guys. Yeah, I don't know why it's not even on the freaking list. I hate to say it, even though I obviously was like trashing about it, but I am glad Halo's back, and I am glad Halo is lot more lively than ever. I'm kind of angry about it, but at the same time, I'm kind of agreeing with both of you too, especially with Psychonauts 2. It's just like. The game kind of surprised me, but not only that, but I'm just kind of glad a game like that exists for us. Like I could say for a fact that like the three that obviously like for me that stands out is Halo, Forza, and Psychonauts 2. I think the other three are kind of like in a, like not to criticize them, but they kind of feel like they're not in a league of those three's own in terms of critical reception.
So I've said Psychonauts, Dan said Forza, Tony said Halo. You are kind of a deciding vote. I would say out of those three, those are the three to choose from for sure. And whatever you choose right now will determine
okay. All right.
The game of the year.
I've got it, and this will determine the game of the year because you guys all three. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just kidding. I was gonna name another different game. Throw you off.
MLB The Show.
Did Leisure Suit Larry come
Leisure Suit Larry, or BMX XXX. I'm just kidding. Who remembers that game? All right. You know what? I'm just gonna kind of bite the bullet and probably. God, I can't believe I gotta freaking do this. I think I'll go with. I'm gonna go with Forza. I know this is gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna have to go with Forza as a final offer because it's kind of I just kind of like casually playing it with you guys, and I don't get mad about it, even if it's like a race or anything like that. Even though I haven't played that much of Forza, I remember like just like talking with you guys about it and being like, okay, I think Forza is the one where like I can also just casually play with you guys. Or it's just like the social element of Forza beats Halo's social elements, which has nothing. And I don't know.
No, so I guess we're all in agreement. Forza Horizon 5 is the Xbox North
game of the year. I have to give it to that. I don't know.
Graphically,
it's hard to argue with it.
It's hard to argue that. I would say
Forza
deserved.
Yeah. And Josh, you're I mean, I gotta say, especially when you're talking about like with Psychonauts 2 with the mental health stuff, but also the fact that it's like a genre that's been so like gone for Xbox. It's just like such a much needed and the fact that it's unique in the levels, and even Tony,
don't talk yourself out of it. It is done.
But it's done. Let's. I'd say let's do Forza. I'd say I know it's a safe kind of. Yeah.
All right. Well, we can't keep Tony all night.
I know. I'm sorry, Tony. We've got our last thing that we're gonna do, and then we're okay.
So now that Xbox has, from what we hear from Phil Spencer, has sold up to shipped has up to 12 million consoles and is almost neck and neck with PlayStation. So it sounds
And
like
as of
we're having
recording this, it's his birthday.
Happy birthday,
so happy birthday, Phil
Happy
Spencer.
birthday.
Uncle Phil.
It seems like they're having a very successful first year of the Xbox. What would we all personally just like give it a grade, like in school when we were kids? A plus, minus. I personally give it a B plus. What would you give it, Tony?
I give it an A. And
Nice. Dan?
Okay.
I gave it an A minus just because, I think it did good, and it's the first Xbox in a while where I've had zero issues with it too, and just all kinds of fun. It's blown away my expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to be the contrarian here and think about because we're doing school grades, but I'd have to say B plus plus plus.
That a thing?
Adding those pluses.
Yeah, that's
in.
I thought it was only like A plus plus plus, but
yeah. There's a B plus plus because it's like great.
You were so
job.
close to the A.
You were so close to the A, and I thought
Is that when
so.
your teacher gives you a
It
little
is.
note maybe after class, and somehow you changed it into pluses to show your parents?
I've had a B plus plus plus. Actually, it's funny.
Yeah, a B plus plus deserves to not be a teacher.
there's no way they were giving out B plus 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 in the 90s. No chance.
Oh, I want to
You're one of
say
those kids who got a trophy for failing, didn't you?
I want to say actually what it was because my teacher was arguing with me a lot. This is a real story, and I will get to it. And it's because it's gaming. But I reviewed at 2002 Halo: Fall of Reach as a book report, and I wish I can find it. I really wish I can find it. But my teacher was angry that I did a thing about a video game, and so she thought I was just talking about the levels. And instead, she was so impressed. But she still also said it needs to be a fictional book where it's I think what happened was that I was I was such a troublemaking kid, and she was just so happy that I actually read a book completely, even though she was also kind of going she actually had to thoroughly look if I was still cheating. So, but after that, because I think at first she didn't give me a mark, but then she was still kind of annoyed. She's like, I'm not going to give you an A because we wanted you to do original stories and whatever. We wanted you to read a book completely. Of that, they wanted us to all find it was a
professional grade for you. Okay,
yeah, and so
nice.
she's
Andrew's grade is based entirely on him reading his first book.
Exactly, and that's it's a fact. And but I explained it so thoroughly, and maybe that's why I'm here doing all this Xbox podcast with you guys. It's sometimes it's Halo that started it all. And so I'll change it to Halo. I'm just kidding.
It all started with the B plus plus class.
But it all started with the B plus plus. So I'm just I know people are
Give
gonna
it
be
an H for Halo.
yeah, that's my that's how I identify as B plus plus plus. So
How you identify? That's how you identify, or that's
my
how
mark.
you?
That's what I
the
want.
grade you want to give the
The
Xbox.
rating I want Xbox 4. And you know what? Maybe next year will be this year. Sorry, next year. Maybe this year will be A plus.
That B plus 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 severely affects the average of our total scores.
Yeah. You know what I thought it was, by the way?
Bring us all slightly off whack.
Yeah. When I was out of what is it? When I was out of when you go to college. When you go to high school, you know how it's you get the number 65 or 72 or 70 whatever. For a long time, I still committed that B plus 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 was a real thing. So I thought it was 84% out of 100.
We'll die on this cross. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
No, it's got a percentage that's associated. It's real.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah. That's exactly it. I know I'm weird like that, but yeah. Hopefully, Tony, you're gonna come back with, and he's gonna be like, "Oh no, I'm done with these guys. I don't know what the fuck." He's really serious about this B plus.
I give it a B plus plus plus, and then gives the camera a wink.
Yeah.
84%. Last time I was here, I had a B plus 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 time with them. So should I go back or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
All
you
right.
can crack the A's, eh?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, thank you so much, Tony, for coming.
Yeah, man. Yeah, please, Tony,
Absolutely.
you can come back anytime you want, man. It was great talking to you. I'm just gonna be off. I'm just happy that I get to talk to somebody about baseball with. You know what I mean? Maybe secretly I should have made a baseball podcast instead of an Xbox podcast.
Yeah.
And for the 5 people that watch us compared to the many that watch Tony over here, just remember, like, you can catch him over at the Plume Network.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Over
Awesome. Yeah, but I mean,
subscribers.
thanks guys for having me on here. I mean, it was fun.
Thanks for coming.
Talked about a bunch
Thank
of
you
cool
for
stuff,
coming.
and it was a great time. So, anytime you want me to be on, I'm more than happy to join you guys.
Yeah. Anytime you want.
Andrew, you've been replaced. All right.
You
All
become
right,
a-
guys. I'm going to LA. I'm going to try to make it out as somebody. You guys, just best of luck and all that stuff. I just love you guys, and I'm just kidding. No, I'll still be here.
Oh, thanks.
Still be
You're just kidding on loving us. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Oh,
Keep that in the memory banks.
oh,
All right, take us home, Dan.
All right. And so, yeah, as always, we remind you to hit that subscribe button for our YouTube page. Hit that like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below. You can even ask Tony questions, though he's not going to reply because we're not going to tell him what you asked. So there. You can also find us on Spotify and Google Podcast. Just look for Xbox North Podcast. We're also on Reddit, Instagram. Look up Xbox North Podcast. And for Twitter, just to be difficult, at North Xbox.
We're also on Rumble as well.
oh, right.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
On there as well.
Yeah.
It anywhere, man. If there's a video platform available, just stick it on there. Why not?
Yeah, let's just put it on.
And if you just keep watching this episode over and over again, you can even get the Plume Network. There's Tony right there.
I'm like totally out of focus.
right there. Absolutely.
Again,
All right.
Tony, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, guys.
Again, for our 2022 Game of the Year special, we'll see if we can make it annual.
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Take care, eh?
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Toodaloo.
See you later.
Yeah.